Welcome to TFO Next Morning. We'll be reviewing Week 8 of the TFO Season 4, the Season of Odin. So let's hit it up with the recap. On Wednesday, we had a Wednesday Night Lights with the Westeros Guardians taking on Venture Industries, and the Guardians showed some of their dominance, 24-3 under the big hot lights. This was a really impressive win for the Guardians. This is something that they've needed for a while. A big note is Venture Industries has been missing their main running back, Brock Sampson. It really hurt them. Jefferson Twilight just wasn't able to get the same magic, and Dr. Venture was called upon a little more than he should have been, and he threw 2 interceptions. So this is a big pick-me-up for the Guardians. Good job, Guardians. Then on Thursday Night Football, we saw the Hoovians take on the Boxhead Capers, and the Hoovians went down 7 to the Capers 21. The Capers defense has just been amazing this season, almost unrealistic. Animal really was unleashed last week. The Hoovians were really able to contain him this week. Offensively, the Capers weren't looking that impressive, to be honest, but special teams and defense play a lot in this league, and the Capers have looked just amazing in both of those fronts, so impressive. Saturday night special, we saw the Greek Legends take on the Robot Masters, and the Legends got a nice victory, 28 to Masters 17. The Barry God Sanders did go down at the end of that matchup, so we'll be looking at the injury report later to see how that'll play out going forward. Lost Survivors taking on the Rainbow Unicorns, with the Lost Survivors squeaking by with a victory 13-7. The Unicorns had this matchup won, but then fumbled the ball right into Tom Friendly's hands, and he ran like 40 yards for a touchdown to really seal the deal. Unicorns really could have made another comeback there at the end, but they fumbled once again, and Ethan Rahm caught it that time. So bad luck there for the Unicorns. I thought they were going to win it there. Their defense looked pretty tight today, other than those 2 offensive fumbles. The Weapon X's took on the DBZ squad, with the X's getting the big victory 42-17. 2 big things I noticed in this matchup here was that Wolverine was getting good blocks for his team, so he was able to get running down the field. It was definitely a team effort today, too. I saw Spider-Man with the touchdown, Venom with several catches, but the big thing was the defense showed up for the Weapon X's. There at the end, they held the DB squad to 2 4-and-outs, and then when DB's squad got the ball back after a fumble, they threw right into a Thor interception. So the X's look really great. If their defense can keep this up, they definitely can turn their season around. Racial slurs at the Nocturne Maniacs, with the Slurs getting a big victory here, 28-3. The Bum had 147 yards today, but the real story on the Slurs was their defense, which got 2 interceptions and recovered a fumble and just basically shut out the Maniacs, other than that field goal right before halftime. So that was a big win for the Slurs to kick it back into gear. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Torturers took on their rival, the 8-Bit Brigade, and the Torturers got an impressive victory here, 42-21. Mark Summers showing us why he's nicknamed Specially Challenged, throwing 4 interceptions today, 3 of them to Leatherhead, and Leatherhead ran 1 of them back for a touchdown. A very impressive defensive showing by the Torturers, but also a very impressive offensive showing from the Torturers, with Leonardo 4 completions, 286 yards, and he had a rushing touchdown as well. So way to go, Torturers. Big victory. The Hollywood Heroes took on the Beer Gods, and the Heroes, they got a good victory here, 24 to Beer Gods 13. Early in this one, the great amazing Al Bundy went down. Roddy Piper had to come in to replace him. Piper was in there to chew bubblegum and score touchdowns, and he was all out of bubblegum, as Piper looked like a very respectable replacement for Al Bundy. The Beer Gods suffering, though, as Lefin Dumande and Dumande's backup is still out currently. So we'll see how that progresses, and hopefully 1 or 2 of those guys will be coming back next week. The Champs Chumps took on the All-American Alkies, and the Chumps squeaked by 28-24. This was a very interesting game. Lots of fumbles, Kyle Kinesi throwing an interception, the Chumps not being able to get any passing yards, but able to get almost 200 rushing yards on the day. really it boiled down to the Chumps' defense being able to hold the Alkies there in the fourth quarter to that field goal, and then that Alkies kicked that onside kick, and Chuck Liddell, what can you say about that guy? He was able, and special teams really played a lot here for the Chumps as well. So a very impressive win for the Chumps, a big victory that they needed here today. The Azrothian Assassins took on the All-American Raider All-Stars. And the All-Stars got the victory here. Assassins 14, All-Stars 28. This was a mixed bag game. 3 interceptions total, lots of fumbles, many overturns. The Assassins really had a shot here at the end in the fourth quarter when they kicked the onside kick. They were only down by 7, but the All-Star defense really showed up there and was able to seal the deal. I liked seeing running Jim Plunkett back, 8 carries for 112 yards. He reminded me of his MVP 2014 season, so hopefully we see more out of that out of Plunkett. And on Sunday Night Football, the Vintage Viking guys brought us the World's Warriors taking on the WWF Hoffs. And the Warriors just looked extremely dominant in that matchup. 24 to Hoffs 12. I couldn't say it better than Balog said it. There were so many excellent conditioned guys on the World's Warriors defense. They were just running through that line. So many sacks that whole game. Just Macho Man was just getting crushed left and right. He was saying, "Oh no, not oh yeah." So, but I think that's an impressive victory for the Warriors and showcases what kind of team they are. So that's going to bring us into the standings here. So currently, for the Bad Snap division, the Boxhead Capers, the Stellar Offenders, and the Lost Survivors are all at the top, 5-2. Hollywood Heroes is just trailing by 1, 4-3, and then the Whovians are 2-5. That's a hell of a division. That's definitely going to come down to, I think, the last week. Bad Crackle, we got the Beer Gods on top 6-2. The DBZ squad trailing behind 5-3. The Weapon X's catching up 4-4. Raiders 3-5. And the Azrothian Assassins carrying the tail 2-6. And this is still a very close race, but the Beer Gods have looked very dominant in their matchups. So if they can keep that up, they're going to definitely go into playoffs with some momentum. Bad Pop, got the 8-Bit Brigade on top 4-3. Nocturne Maniacs and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Torturers are 3-4, and the Slurs are in the back 2-5. This one is definitely going to come down to these inter-division matchups that they're going to have. 8-Bit Brigade's going to have to play the Turtles again if they haven't played them already. And they played them this week, I believe, didn't they? See, so, that was a hard matchup, and they're going to have to play again. Where are we? Mad Snap. World's Warriors with their win are on top 4-2-1. Venture Industries is 4-3. Rainbow Unicorns 3-4. They almost had a big win this week, and the Hoffs 2-5. So, we were making fun of the Rainbow Unicorns just a few weeks ago. Now they're only 1.5 win down from first place. So this is another tough division. Nobody's out, man. TFO. The TFO gods grant stuff. So start praying. Mad Crackle, Champs, Chumps, and the Greek Legends are on top 5-3. The Alkies are dropped 4-4. Westeros with a big win this week. They're 2-6, and the Robot Masters 1-7. So very interesting at the top there. It's going to be interesting to see how everything goes going forward. And then Mad Pop, we got the Defenders, the Celestial Defenders on top 5-1-1. Look at that tie. That tie is really helping both those teams. Rap Kings 5-2. South Jersey Slashers 4-3. Pokemans are the 3-4, and the G.I. Joe is 2-5. So battle up there at the top. A lot of those teams had a bye this week. That's why we didn't see them. So injury report. Well, let's see what's going on with the injury. Why is it not going down? There it is, an injury report. A lot of people injured, not that many returning. Luckily for the Hollywood Heroes, Al Bundy's coming back. Venture Industries has been begging for Brock Sampson to be back. So those are two big gets. Sir Lancel is a great offensive piece for the Westeros Guardians, so they're going to love having him back. But look at all these huge players that are still out. The Beer Gods are still missing Lafin Dumande and Stella Etois, and that really hurt them this week. Grom Hellscream for the Azrothian Assassins, that sucks. They pass a lot, but when they run, they need a dependable running back. Mosby was injured, the baby Moses, as they called him on the Vintage Vikings. He's just a returner, though, but returners can be sorely missed. Speaking of great returners, Fairy Tinkerbell, not only running back one, but she does pretty much all the returning for the Rainbow Unicorns, and that's one thing they're really known for doing, so that really hurts having her out. the Barry God Sanders is down. What a divine injury he must have incurred. It's gonna hurt, especially with King Agamemnon also injured. So I mean, the Greek legends are missing a lot of their pieces, and they're at the top of their division. They want to keep winning. Wiley Oilman still being out has really hurt those Robot Masters. They're 1-7, I want to say. They have a bye this week, so that's going to help them get him back. He needs to be back as soon as possible because they have been hurting bad. Lone Star for the Celestial Defenders, they're a solid group, but Lone Star is a key piece into their offense. Don't let that running back 2 confuse you. He's the main back. He's just running the running back 2 routes. And Quiet Greninja, the Pokemons, again, with a strong pass, you need a good run when it comes to it. And Greninja's had a lot of touchdowns this season, so get well soon, guys. We miss you guys. We need you back. So bye week, the Beer Gods, Weapon X's, Raider All-Stars, the DBZ Squad, the Azerothian Assassins, and the Robot Masters. So the Bad Crackle and the Robot Masters to even it up. They'll be on vacation, sunny Hawaii probably somewhere, eating either Defender O's or eating meanies and drinking it down with Bum Potion number 9 and any other cheap plugs that I can put in right here, right now. MMACCG.com, it's a hell of a card game. You got to check that out at least. Sour Blood, what a band. They rock out. All right, what's next on my list? Top 5. So this week, I'm going to go over the top 5 defenses in TFO up to this current point. So number 5, we got the Beer Gods. They've allowed only 1,480 yards. Most of that is pass. A lot of run, especially in their division. They got the Weapon X's. They also have the Raider All-Stars, whose quarterback Jim Plunkett likes to run it. The DBZ squad's Broly, he's a runner. So they do have a lot of running to worry about in that division. But the Raider All-Stars are pretty much a pass offense, and the Azerothian Assassins are as well. So it's interesting to see that they've resisted that pass, and I think that really helps. I put, who is that? The Arrogant Bastard on there because he's just a hell of a force on their team. Number 4, the Rainbow Unicorns. They've only allowed 1,410 yards, most of that being passing. They've only allowed 543 run. They've actually allowed less run yards than any other team on this top 5. But they've allowed the most pass yards of any team on this top 5, and that's where it's hurting them. They have an amazing defense. Nobody's questioning that. Their offense is what sucks. What also really helps their defense is they have an amazing special teams, and that special teams has been carrying them to that 3 wins they've got. I put Fairy Tabby on there. She's their number 1 sacker. They don't really have any top tier defenders as far as I'm concerned, and I think that's because their special teams carrying most of it. Number 3, the Celestial Defenders. They've allowed 1,402 yards. It's been about an even spread, 680 pass, 722 rush. They've got an amazing defense. What do you want to say? Chris McLeese knows how to build a TFO team. I mean, his rookie season, he became the Shiva Bowl champion. So, not a lot of people can say they did that in their, obviously Kyle Kanis can because he did it the first season, his rookie season. So, but it's still impressive nonetheless. And he did very good last season, so there's no questioning that his team was going to be great this season. Miss Marvel is his number 1 sacker. She's just been breaking necks and just rushing through that line, so impressive. Number 2, the Stellar Offenders. They've allowed 1,387 yards. They're a little 50-52, 717, and 870. Nick Dean's got to love to see his name above Chris McLeese. And the Offenders have really surprised in their defensive actions. Nick Dean spent pretty much all summer working on what his team was going to be and how he was going to hire for his squad and what positions needed to cover what. And he watched a lot of game film, and you can tell by the people that he's hired and placed on his Offenders defense, they have just been crushing it. They've been very impressive, especially in a division where you have the likes of Animal, and Al Bundy, and the passing of the Lost Survivors, and the defense of the Hoovians. That's a hell of a division, that bad snap. So the Offenders being up here is great. But they're not number 1. They're by 3 yards. The Boxhead Capers are the best defense currently by yardage allowed. 1,384 yards. They've allowed more passing than rushing, which is still impressive to me because Al Bundy is in this division. Al Bundy is a wrecker. but passing doesn't surprise me here because, the lost survivors with John Locke are passing all the time. The Capers really got going for them, not just a good defense, but they got a pretty solid offense. And with animals clicking, they can hold the ball out there for a much longer period of time, which means that the opponent's offense isn't out there as much. So, for the offenders, I forgot to say, I put out the Phoenix Force because she's their number one sacker. And then for the Capers here, I put Miss Piggy because not only is she the number one sacker on their team, she's the best looking woman in TFO. I love you, Miss Piggy. Give me a call. Moyer got my phone number. Call me. All right, and that's it. See you next Tecmo. I have no idea how long this has gone because I cut it up a little bit. I actually did my comments for the games, the Sunday afternoon games. I did that while watching those games, so I thought that was interesting. I think I messed up how I recorded that all, but oh well, we'll see. So, I'll talk a little bit. Why not? I mean, it's really interesting. We're going to have no buys after week 10. So week 11 will be our first week where everyone's back. So everybody will be even ground. I'm going to do something during that week. I'm not sure what yet, but because that's a good midpoint. And we'll have, 6 games left? 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Yep, 7 games left. I can do math. And so that's a good midpoint. People will have 9 games under their belt. And so we're going to see where everybody is. I mean, it does look like there are definitely some more dominant teams than other teams right now. That doesn't worry me ever because I've done this long enough where I know, especially since you have to play everybody in your division twice, that's what really matters. And it definitely seems like TFO or Tecmo in general, takes into effect that you haven't won a lot or that you're playing a divisional team. And if you beat that divisional team last time, I find it's hard to beat them. It's hard to get 2-0 against a divisional team. And a lot of TFO veterans will tell you that. So I definitely don't think anybody's out yet. I mean, the Robot Masters are definitely down in the pits at 1-7. They have the worst record currently. The best record currently would be the Beer Gods. They're 6-2, followed by the Defenders 5-1-1. So it's interesting to see. The Beer Gods go into their bye week now, which is nice, being in the lead and all that. So that's a good for them. What info can I look up here? Let's enlarge this. Blub, 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 blub. We talked about the defenses earlier. Let's do a rundown of the offenses real quick. Number 5, the Greek Legends. They've had about 2,100 yards. World's Warriors, number 4, 2,200 yards. Celestial Defenders, number 3, a little over 2,200 yards. Beer Gods, number 2, 2,257. And number 1, All-American Alcoholics, 23,000-ish. So, one thing that catches my eye immediately is all 5 of those teams have over 1,000 passing yards. The Legends have over 1,000 passing yards and 1,000 rushing yards. That's really impressive for that team. I see good things for that squad if that continues. I mean, even with Barry God Sanders out, if Zeus can make the pass work for them, that's going to be intriguing. But yeah, that's just some things. Number 1 passer right now is John Locke. Still 0 interceptions. His rating is, almost 80 more than the next. Sun Tzu's number 2 quarterback. So, and Sun Tzu had a hell of a game this past week. So that was impressive. What other stats we got here? Number 1 leading receiver with the most receiving yards is General Patton, World's Warriors. He's got 990. Sile Windrunner is number 2 as Rothian Assassin, 746. Captain Morgan, 3rd, All-American Alcoholics, 709. Rushers, DBZ squad's Broly's number 1 now. After Al Bundy's injury, Broly has 1,130 yards. What's wild is Broly has almost double the amount of carries Al Bundy has. Broly has 145 carries, while Al Bundy has 87. And Al Bundy's only down by 5 yards. And with Bundy coming back next week, he's going to be pissed that he missed some time. So, South Jersey Slashers, Myers is coming up number 3rd. 1,000 yards. So, and that's the top 3, the only 3 that have over 1,000 rushing yards as well. So that's impressive. Leading scorers, even Bundy's out, he's still number 1 scorer. He has 17 touchdowns. Animal 2nd with 16 for the Boxhead Capers, and Michael Myers 3rd for the South Jersey Slashers with 15. Field goal wise, finally somebody was able to get some field goals in this week. Logger is number 1 now for the Beer Gods, 10 field goals. Jack Frost, number 2 for the Maniacs, 8. And tied for 2 is Dragon Ball Z's Android, also with 8. Interception-wise, we got 3 teams that have 4 interceptions, or 3 guys that have 4 interceptions, I should say. Paglia of the South Jersey Slashers has 4. Head of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, it's Leatherhead, has 4 and a touchdown. He ran a touchdown, but he had 3 interceptions this week and one of them for a touchdown. Just impressive. And David Tennant of the Hoovians has 4 as well. Sacking-wise, Miss Piggy's number 1 with 14 sacks for the Boxhead Capers. Alexander the Great, who just had an impressive game this week, has 13. He's number 2. Jason Voorhees of the South Jersey Slashers, number 3 with 12. And just to note, there's a 3-way tie for 4th. It's General Sherman, Colonel Hannibal, and Napa for 10. Napa's the DBZ squad, but the other 2 of the World's the World's Warriors. And I bring that up because just they had so many sacks this past week. It was just insanity is the best way to word it. so I like to bring that up. Punting. Blaziken still up top for the Pokemon. He's had 3 kicks that have not been touched back, 65.3 yard average. Jack, Frost, I assume, or it's the other. There's Frost Jack and the other Jack. I don't know, Dark Jack of the Maniacs. He has 3 kicks for a 61.6 average. Leandrin of the Azerothian Assassins has 8 kicks for 59 yards. The more kicks they get in, the less that average is going to even out throughout the season. Punt returners. Tim Brown's number 1 Raider All-Stars. He has the punt touchdown. His average is a 20.8. Tinkerbell, who's out right now, is number 2 for the Rainbow Unicorns. 20.5 is her average. And Darth Maul of the Offenders, another reason why they've been doing great defensively, is a great special teams. He has an average of 16.4. And kickoff returners, Freddy Krueger's number 1 for the South Jersey Slashers. He has an average of 27.7. Chris Eccleston, the Egg, is number 2 with the Hoovians, a 24.1 average. And then Ron Jeremy, the raunchy Ron Jeremy, is number 3 for the Chumps with a 23.9 average. He has 2 touchdowns on this season. Man, I'd love to see him score another touchdown. There's never been 3 kickoff return touchdowns in a single season. That'd be awesome. Can Ron Jeremy do it? Well, we know he can do it. You know, we watch him do it all the time. But all right, that's all I got, I guess. So it was a great week. I love TFO. TFO is brought to you by all those products I named earlier. And see you next Tecmo.